YouTube, what's happening with it? Man, I'ma ask you, man, go over there, subscribe, share, like, hit me with a thumbs up. Let me know I'm kicking my stuff, homie. As everybody know, what I'm saying? Kind of been going through it a little bit. And kind of was reminiscing of when I lost my deuce, little G half deuce, homie. And you know, I was able to get a chance to hook up with this dude, homie, kind of like in the end of the 93 era, 94 era or something like that, homie. And back then, homie, how you would get a little, what I'm saying, our homegirl get a little, you know, and them times, homie, to show our homage, pay our homage, or show our remembrance to a loved one. Homies or homegirls would dub motherfuckers after the loved ones, our loved ones, whether you was passed or in jail, homie. So at this particular time, homie, I'm locked up, homie. You know what I'm saying? I'm locked up, and I remember getting out after my time was up. I remember getting out, and my homeboy LSD, maybe my homeboy Baby S, and my homeboy Ghost, maybe, homie. Maybe them three had already been dealing with the homie, lacing them up a little bit and shit like that, and was liking his style and shit, homie. So, like I said, in homies and homegirls' absence, motherfuckers would dub people after one another. So they happen to be like, homie, you a good candidate for being Lil G Half, you know, because he had the character, he had the swag, the style, homie, and he had a cold stroke. We was known for cold bells and shit. We'd be belling like a motherfucker. So he was a perfect lineup for that get down, homie. You know what I'm saying? And the homies took a liking to him and shit. So anyway, to cut into the story, homie, I wound up coming home, and I remember we on a block, homie. We either at the park or the 500, homie. It been some time back. I'm digging into this, my mind and shit. So it may been, it may been on the 500 or it may been at the park. But I remember the homies, we all out there lounging and shit. You know what I'm saying? Homies happy to see a nigga and shit in them times. And I remember the homies like, nigga, we got something for you, homie, on the real, homie. We got something for you. And I think the homies cut out. And if I ain't mistaken, they wind up pulling back up with a short, banged out little motherfucker G the fuck up, and it was like a clone of me, homie. Tripped me out. We had so much character, style, and you know what I'm saying? So much shit in common, homie, with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So to cut into the story, you know what I'm saying? We was able to pull time off with one another, homie. We was able to pull gain of years off with one another, homie. You know what I'm saying? Having high respect for each other. You know what I'm saying? We was solid with one another, homie. And we was both soldier, big homie, little homies at that time, homie. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I meet him. And then as time progressed, homie, he keep building a big old character, homie. We hitting it off. Dynamic duo, homie. Motherfuckers that know me know how our style was, homie, and how our get down was, homie. You know what I'm saying? It was unseverable, homie. So, he built his own character up, homie. You know what I'm saying? I remember he was motherfucker went to the county jail at like 17 and got a chance to hit the module in jail with other big homies and shit. Get extra season at a very young age, homie. From different homies from different turfs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Big Nutty Boy now from VNG and different homies like that and shit. And he was also part of starting the 700 block that a gang of the homies from the 500 block we didn't want. you know, because we felt like putting them clicks and them extra blocks inside the turf would start separation and confusion. Because at one time it was just one block, 500 block. But Lil G Half, Baby Talk, I think, a Jap, maybe the Old Face, you know what I'm saying, and a few more dudes, homie. Them dudes went through a lot of fights, a lot of scrimmage, a lot of scrutiny and all kind of shit because they was a part of starting a whole nother block, homie. So even though I didn't like it, I got a chance and a privilege to have a young homeboy that kicked off a future block that's right now superly expanded and shit. But anyway, I'm just giving a little history on him and shit like that, homie. And out that group of dudes at that time, homie, you know, he was like top of the line, soldiered out of his group, homie, with the turf, you know, down for whatever type motherfucker, short motherfucker, G'd up, lovable, solid motherfucker, homie. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he was the homie I used to run across bread, but he was the homie, you know, young homie that helped me monetize my shit, stack shit, you know, where I can see a growth in my grind and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, homie, we had a gaining compatible ways and learned each other, homie, and you know what I'm saying? Was a perfect hookup, homie. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homies that brought him to me and shit. So anyway, to cut into his death, homie, you know, it ain't no secret, you know, Inglewood and just outside of Inglewood, the Inglewood neighborhood Paru, we always kind of had our own ongoing conflict with the Rolling 60s. You know what I'm saying? And at this particular time, homie, to move into the story, I wind up, going to the penitentiary, homie. So I come home from the penitentiary, and like I said, he developing his growth, so he doing his thing, moving the crowd. You know, people love him, so he able to, you know what I'm saying, uh, 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 people love him. So he able to, he's a people person. So he able to kind of like move the crowd type shit, short motherfucker, but he's solid, and people respect this get down, homie. You know what I'm saying? So I remember I'm fresh out. I'm at one of my spots, a few days into being fresh out. I'm at one of the spots and I haven't just really hooked up with everybody and really just kicked it, homie. So, you know, I remember, we had TGIF in our hood, homie. So the homies, I guess, during me being gone, wind up, functioning up there occasionally and shit, you know. And this particular night, he had hit me, homie, and, was telling me, hey, dog, come up here, come hang out, it's food, drink. I got tweed, I got some sherm. Then he started laughing like, oh, nigga, you fresh out. I forgot you ain't fucking with that shit, nigga. You don't fuck with that shit. And, we laughing and clowning and shit, homie. But, and like I say, homie, at this particular time, it's no secret, NHP's beef with the Rolling 60s. And at this time, the 40s and 60s, was at I guess they state where they were seeing eye to eye and getting along, homie. You know what I'm saying? And, like I said, he hit the spot. He tell me that shit. So I say, okay, man, I'm going to get myself together. But in the midst of me getting myself together, homie, you know what I'm saying? I had long hair at that time and shit. So in the midst of me, sitting, I was sitting around the spot. So I get myself together. You know what I'm saying? Clean my face up, body up, and all that shit, homie. And I do my hair, homie. It seemed like once I, finished up my ponytail, got my hair together and shit. And probably maybe 20 minutes into me having a chance to get myself together and prepare myself to leave out, I get another phone call. So I'm thinking it's the homie, but it's the homegirl, Big Pebble Root, and tell me, Lil Half just got shot. We don't know which state he in, homie. And I go into ramping like, what's going on? What happened? And come to find out, while they was all up there, I guess they get into it with a young group of 60s and a young group of 40s. At that time they together. And I guess some of the younger homeboys might have knew some of them dudes from school or something like that, homie. I'm really not really sure, homie. I'm just, getting, bits what she told me, and then just putting my bits and pieces. They all probably knew each other. Verbal altercation jumped off, led to fist fighting and shit like that, and landing into gunfire, homie. You know, which led my young homeboy Lil Half to get down up there at TGIF Friday in Inglewood at the Ladera Center, homie. So, like I said, not to shave no points off of them, shaving them off of us. But of course, at them times, the streets may have erupted for a short period of time amongst the neighborhood power rules 60s and 40s, homie. Quick shuffle up on the board, homie. And you know, and the homie was sharp, wise, slick, gangster and everything, homie. And like I said, I'm at the spot. So when I get this news, I don't go straight to the scene, homie. Everybody rushes to the hospital. I'm still in belief, kind of going through the same shit now that I have felt with half ounce and shit. Disbelief, like, fuck, man, what happened, homie. I'm boggled and interested to figure out what I know this happened, but it had to be something extra to make something happen, homie. There's always something extra to make something happen, homie. So, think I might have hit the hospital, homie. Hit the hospital. Then from there, I left, homie. And I remember, I don't know if it was the same day or next day, Big Pebble Roo had some belongings of his, I guess some tweed, little knickknacks, and, and the PCP. Because remind you, he said, I got some Sherm, big homie, some drink, food, and tweed. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I did, so he get hit, homie. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm really interested in figuring out what the fuck happened. Cause like I said, my young homie, we both had them slick styles. We was wise, charismatic when it come to this gangster shit, homie. You know what I'm saying? We was considered to have our, I's dotted and T's crossed, homie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at all this shit that the homegirl Big Pebble Root gave me, homie. And like I said, I'm fresh out, so I'm on parole. And I'm just blowing tweed, homie. But I'm constantly looking at this Sherm, homie. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this Sherm, homie. So I'm like, man, fuck it, homie. I dip a stick, blow that motherfucker, at the spot by myself, because I'm trying to get a feel of what happened to my homeboy. Anybody that been in that, lived this life, homie, we still be having personal and mind investigations. We'll play with this shit when we love a motherfucker, homie. So I dip that Sherm because I'm trying to figure it out. So I blow the Sherm, homie, and I remember after a minute I get in my car, homie. Get in my car, I'm riding through my neighborhood, and I end up at a liquor store, homie. And I go in the store, I'm drinking Tangerine pineapple juice at that time. So I go in my neighborhood. Of course, people with protection down because I just lose a homeboy. So as I enter the store, homie, it's three dudes looking LA affiliated in there, which don't make no big thing at that time, homie. It can go down. So to dig into the story, homie, I'm paying for my shit, they paying for their shit, and I bangs on them nigga with that blood like whoopty whoopty whoop, and this go on one. So one of them niggas like, kind of like, try to like shove me, like niggas ain't gone with that shit, nigga, but they was kind of looking LA-ish, homie. So we just so happen to be leaving out at the same time, homie. Now I'm protection down, they was protection down, homie. So dude kind of get on to his thing because I banged on him. So it's people like, they probably like, nigga, we out of bounds. They calming him down. But the nigga, he kind of pull heat. I show protection. You know what I'm saying? But it's people, nobody get down. It's people, shoving him out the way, getting him in the car. I want, yeah, nigga, get on, nigga. I get in the car. Mr. Me starting up the car, homie, I'm thinking, homie, to myself, as I kind of like, I'm on one, and I say, homie, that's what got my homeboy killed. That boisterous Sherm, homie, because they used to have that Sherm, and anybody that fuck with that Sherm know that Sherm make a nigga boisterous, peel a nigga out his character, make a good nigga act a fool, if that was our thing sometime, homie, you know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to share that story, dog, of, just, banging in the street. It's always something behind something, homie. And in that case with Lil Half, it was that water that made a nigga go banged out crazy, because I got a chance to smoke it and damn near okay had an okay corral off that shit, homie. And the reason why I can speak on that story, and share that story, and let people know sometimes it's always something behind something when something happened out here in these streets, homie. I can tell that story with pride of us getting into it with the rolling 60s and the 40s at that time, because I know it been time and decades since my homeboy Lil G Half death, that he had want me to share a story to enlighten people, homie. If we out here doing our thing, homie, kind of have a sober mind, a conscious mind, homie, when we doing our thing. Because when we ain't conscious and super aware of this shit, when we out here on the scrimmage field, homie, it all can go wrong, homie. So I know he want me to share a positive story to let the young people know, homie, keep your head right, keep your mind right, homie. And it's kind of best to be sober out here in these streets if you doing your thing, homie. I know he'll want me to send that message, homie. So I'ma stay kicking G shit, not ye shit. You know what I'm saying, homie? And sharing these real life stories and shit like that, homie. That motherfuckers, can get some learning experiences off of, homie. So like I said, 89 on up, homie. I'm gone. G shit, not ye shit.